In today's video, I want to have a bit more of an in-depth conversation with you guys and girls, of course, the 5% I think that tune into the channel. I want to have a bit more of an in-depth conversation about selling Pokemon cards and particularly sealed investments. Now, this is probably a bit more of an advanced video. So if you're really new to the hobby, perhaps you'll find some snippets out of this. You'll go, oh, okay, that's actually really interesting. But if you're someone that's a little bit more advanced in the hobby, I think this is going to be a video for you. Now, if you're into Pokemon card investing, no doubt you've got a collection of singles that you absolutely love. You've probably got some graded cards, and no doubt you've parked up some sealed product. You know, maybe you've made some mistakes. Maybe you've got just a bunch of, nothing collection boxes that have collected dust for the last 2 years and haven't really gained in value. Maybe you've got a few collection boxes, a few Elite Trainer boxes, a few sealed booster packs, and a couple of sealed booster boxes. Maybe you're into it a bit more, and maybe you've gone a little bit more of an advanced route and you've bought, case after case of every set that comes out. So maybe you have a case of Paldea, maybe you have a case of Paradox Rift, maybe you've got a case of Temporal Forces, a case of Twilight Masquerade, maybe you've got cases all the way back to Sword and Shield or even Sun and Moon era. Either way, if you're into Pokemon investing, no doubt you're somewhere between a booster pack and Rudy from Alpha Investments with your sealed Pokemon collection / investment. Now, if you're in that space, this is a video or a conversation that you probably need to have a little bit of a think about. Now, this whole video is about, sales volume and pricing, because it's no, surprise to anyone that the whole thing is based off, or the whole idea behind investing in Pokemon cards is all around supply and demand. That's generally what happens. As supply dwindles for something, if there's still demand for it, then we get upward pressure put on price. Now, once that happens, we still need to be able to sell the object to realize those gains that the product has made. And that's where things get a little bit grey in the future of Pokemon card investing. And this is why I'm saying this is, a conversation we need to have. And I just want to run through some sales numbers before we get into the nitty-gritty of it. And we're going to start at the top and work our way backwards. So Stellar Crown, the latest booster box set from Pokemon, and these are straight off TCG Player. Obviously, there's a heap of platforms that Pokemon card sealed products can get sold from. But just to keep it regular, I'm focusing off TCG Player. Of course, you could sell on Facebook Marketplace. You could sell to groups. You could sell in person. You could sell on eBay. You could sell on TCG Player. There's so many different places you can sell. But for this example, we're just going off TCG Player. So Stellar Crown, the latest set at $107 per box, in the last 3 months alone, has had 4,225 sales. If we rewind back to the previous booster box set, which is Twilight Masquerade, currently at $143, this is US dollars, off TCG Player, 5,981 sales in the last 6 months, because it's been out for a little bit longer. And in fact, it's been out for about 6.5 months, maybe close to 7. Paldea Evolved, again, I'm not going through every set, but if we rewind back to Paldea Evolved, over the last 12 months at $142 market price per box, it's only had 2,851 sales over the last 12 months, because it's been out longer than that. So as you can see, the demand is starting to shine off a set like Paldea Evolved and move towards the later sets like Stellar Crown, Twilight Masquerade, etc. If we rewind back even further to a set like Chilling Reign at $213 US dollars, it's had 1,046 sales in the last 12 months. Again, under half of what Paldea Evolved has had, because it's a little bit dearer, it's a little bit older. Maybe there's not as much demand for that set anymore. And if we rewind back, well, actually, we're not rewinding back in time a little bit, but we're rewinding back in sales volumes a little bit. Evolving Skies, which is, known to be just the shining light of the modern era from Sword and Shield onwards. It's at $695 US dollars a box. In the last 12 months, it's had 527 sales on TCG Player. So it's half of Chilling Reign. And it's a newer set than Chilling Reign. And just to, drive home this point that I'm trying to make about sales volume and price, which we'll explore a bit more in a second, Team Up, which is at 2,500 US dollars a box, in the last 12 months has had 24 sales. So this brings about a really, really big question, and probably a really important question for any of you that are holding sealed Pokemon card product. And that question really is, how do we offload so much product when it gets to a price where the volume can't handle it? Now, that's a very complicated question. Let me break it down so it makes a bit more sense. Take Team Up, for example, and let's say, for argument's sake, we've magically fast-forwarded time, and those of us that might have bought 6 cases So 36 booster boxes of a similar set to Team Up, or we've bought Team Up. Yet TCG Player is showing that there's only been 24 sales in the last 12 months. So that would indicate either one of two things. There's not many being listed for sale, or the market can only absorb that many sales at that price point in a 12-month period. Now, if someone listed a Team Up booster box for $1,500, it's going to sell like that. If someone listed 50 Team Up booster boxes for $1,500, they're going to sell like that. So then we get this whole, pricing point, don't we? And I guess every single product has that market price, and it's listed everywhere. And if you list something below market price, generally you're going to sell it quickly, aren't you? Whether I'm in the motor car sale world, if we list a used car well below market price or a demonstrated new car well below market price, someone's going to find it on the internet and they're going to buy it pretty damn quickly. If you list something over market price, generally it's going to take a while to sell. So the dilemma here is going to be, like I was saying, if you've bought 36 booster boxes of a set like Team Up, so 6 cases, which is a relatively large amount, but the market can only, I suppose, absorb 24 of them in a 12-month period. And I know this is just TCG Player, so it's just an example. Don't go say, you could sell on Facebook or I get you can sell in other places. It's just an example. If the market can only absorb 24 in a 12-month period, that leaves us with a bit of a dilemma. How do we ever realize our gains in a quick period of time? And then even more so than that question, what's the best way to sell Pokemon or sealed Pokemon card product to have the best outcome? And what I mean by that is, and I get it, this is a bit of a deeper video, but what I mean by that is, if you're holding a bunch of sealed products, so let's use that example. Maybe you've got 2 cases of every set from Sword and Shield base through to Stellar Crown right now. And you're going, okay, my Sword and Shield base is doing pretty well. It's 2.5 times up on what I originally bought it for. My Rebel Clash is doing really well. It's 2.2 times up. Evo Skies is doing phenomenally. It's 6 times up on what I bought or paid for it. Chilling Reign is 2.1 times up. Lost Origin is 2 times up per booster box on what I bought it at. Now, all of those sets, particularly sets like Lost Origin, Brilliant Stars, even Chilling Reign, for argument's sake, Fusion Strike at the price point they're at, you might have 2 times, 2.1, 2.3 times your initial investment. There's still a lot of sales volume to absorb those prices. So the question you need to ask yourself, is it best to sell now? And even if, let's say you've 2.3 times your original purchase price, and there's 15% fees for argument's sake, so 2.3 times, you're still going to have double the income or double the profit of what you originally paid, because it's 2.3 times what you got. And, take out fees and shipping and everything else. Is that the best result? Because what's the alternative? Let's say we hold on to a set like Lost Origin, Fusion Strike for another 6 years. I'm just plucking numbers out of the air, but let's say we hold on to it for another 6 years. And the market price on a Fusion Strike booster box is all of a sudden $800 or $900 or $1,000. I don't know. Who knows what it's going to be worth? It might only be worth $300. But let's say, for argument's sake, it's worth $800. But all of a sudden, rather than ticking out 1,000 sales in a 12-month period because it's at that $200 price point, and it's now at that $800 price point, and the market can only absorb 30 sales a year, and you're trying to compete against so many other people, it's going to end up putting a little bit of downward pressure on price. So this is the question you need to ask yourself. Is it best from a sealed Pokemon card investing world to realize your gains at that sort of 2 or 3 or 4 year period, like a set like Fusion Strike's currently sitting at, or Chilling Reign's currently sitting at, where you could probably comfortably sell your case, your booster box? The market will really want it at the price it's at, because there's still drive and volume at this price point. Do you sell it now and realize 2 times profit? Or do you take the gamble of holding another 6 years? And let's say you have, 40 booster boxes of Fusion Strike. There's probably people with a heap less than that, and there's probably people with a heap more than that. Let's say it does move to that $800 price point that I was talking about, and you need to sell it. Like, you just do, because life's come up, or you've gone, you know what, it is time to sell now. What do? Do you list way below market to try and move it quickly? Do you list at market and just go, whoa, the market can only absorb a certain amount of boxes at this price point? Because now the only people that are buying are true collectors that really want that booster box as part of their sealed collection, streamers that are chasing it for the thrill of, finding Gengar, Mew, Espeon VMAX. Maybe it's pack breakers that are buying the boxes and then individually selling the packs so they can, stream them, and same thing, get AdSense revenue from YouTube and other, streaming services from people watching. You're now limited in your buyer market. So that's the dilemma I'm getting at. And now, look, I'm not saying there's an answer. I'm not saying go out and sell all your Lost Origin, all your Fusion Strike, all your Chilling Reign booster boxes now while the market's still hot for them, so you can realize your 2 times gain and then move it into, bank half of that profit and move the original purchase price into, Paldea, Twilight, Paradox, Temporal, and just go, well, let's do it again. Let's go on that ride every 2 or 3 years and just go double money every 2 or 3 years. Take the initial investment, go again, bank the other half of it, bank the other half of it. Maybe that's the way you should do it. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying go sell now. Maybe it's better to hold it. The other thing you got to remember is a lot of these sealed booster boxes that are worth heaps of money, whether we're talking, from base set through to Skyridge, through to the E-Series sets, even through to, Platinum or Heart Gold, Soul Silver. So there's so many factors as to why these sets are worth so much more. Obviously, not so much base set and the likes, but the E-Series, the EX Series, Platinum Series, the printing was so much less. And that leaves us with a few things like, higher raw single prices, higher PSA 10 prices. So you've got this real thrill of the gamble or thrill of the chase for opening up those packs. If we don't have that in the future, it's really going to impact future box prices, and therefore it's really going to impact future sales prices. Because like I was saying, the future sales for those sets is going to be driven by collectors, and collectors want the best. Like, why is someone going to go out and spend 12 grand on EX Sandstorm booster box when they could spend 20 grand on an EX Team Rocket Returns booster box and have such a nicer set? The same thing's going to happen in the future. That's why I suppose I keep drilling home to people, but, the better the chase cards, the better the chase depth inside a set, the better the overall set value, the more likely it is to perform well and going to be easy to sell in the future as an investment. Because, like I was saying, at some stage you've got to sell it to realize your gains. Like I was saying, I don't know how to summarize this video because it was one where I suppose I'm almost thinking out loud and having a conversation, which is what I love. I love to talk to people about Pokemon cards. And at the moment, I'm talking to a camera. I'm also talking to you guys and girls out there. So I don't know if I've really got an answer or a summary for this video. I suppose there's almost 2 strategies, isn't it? You can do like I was saying, where you're buying the boxes, and every 3 years or so, if they happen to double in value, realize your gains, take half the profit, move the original purchase price into a newer set, and rinse and repeat. Or you could do that with the majority of your collection and maybe leave a booster box or 2 just to age like fine wine and see what happens to it. Maybe the market can absorb more boxes in the future. Maybe there's going to be more demand for these Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet boxes in the future. Who knows? Maybe that's the right strategy to take. Anyway, hopefully this conversation made sense to you. I'm Michael. This is PokeOz, and I'll catch everyone next time.